evening, Franklin County. This is the Franklin County Fiscal Court's April 29th meeting at 5 o'clock work session. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. It's finally a beautiful day out. We got a little bit of rain that we much needed. So, yeah. Alrighty. First, we have our good friend Ben Griffith with us, and he's going to come up and give us a blessing for tonight's meeting. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep. Thanks for being with us.
It's good to be here.
Yep.
I'm Ben Griffith. I'm from the Frankfurt Interfaith Council, and on behalf of the council, I thank you for the opportunity to gather us in prayer. Let us pray. Dear God, we gather this evening to work on the business of the good people of Franklin County. To those gathered here to do the work, bless them with the wisdom and to serve others. We acknowledge thy presence here in each of us, among all of us. You know our hearts, our minds, our needs. Give us the courage to listen to you. O thou far off and here, whole and broken, who is in necessity and bounty wait, whose truth is light and dark, mute though spoken, by thy wide grace, show us thy narrow gate. Grant us wisdom and courage to serve the community, to find thy narrow gate together. We give special thanks for all these people who do the work in this county. In your holy presence, may we forever abide. Amen.
Amen. Ben, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a good evening. Alrighty, public comments. Do we have any public comments with us tonight? Alrighty, seeing no public comments, I believe Jailer Hopper is with us tonight, and thanks for being here.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, court.
Good evening.
This is,
We're just getting going, sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I said this is my 7th quarterly that I've given. I'm pretty excited about it, too. Andrew, if I can go, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. Our population report currently, as of the 28th, when I ran this, was 136 Franklin County inmates, 73 Anderson. Our state, including SAP and SOAR, is 93. Our federal inmates are 20. Well, I know that went up 2 today. SAP 50 and SOAR 17, for a total of 325 at the jail. Our third quarter revenues, actual revenues, are $1 million. For this quarter, $1,225,000. The physical condition of the jail, our new maintenance checks, we're doing all of our preventive maintenance, and things are working out very well. It's effective. We're operating ahead of our issues, painting and cleaning, and improvements. The recent jail inspection was excellent, and it is printed off, and I think it was sent to the court as well. They're always going to ask us about overcrowding. There's nothing that we can do about the overcrowding of the jail. The camera project has been completed. Now they are, they're out there. We just are doing some focus we don't have any issues at all. The generator warranty and maintenance contract is now in force with Caterpillar. The new budget request for the new pavement at the facility to replace an original 39-year-old surface out there. When people come out to visit, we have some concerns when they're parking and getting into the building. So that's probably one of the biggest things that we have now that we're hoping is approved through our budget. Our staffing, currently 48 employees. Interviews are still being conducted for the remaining positions. We are currently doing weekly officer deputy training, leadership training that goes on daily out there. The staff culture is worked on, and we push that forward every day, and we teach that when we talk to our deputies about leadership and changing and continuing with the culture that we've come on board and taken care of. Our community service, I think we have 14 businesses that we mow, nonprofits, the jail gardens in the ground. We focused this year on underground potatoes and onions, things that we can hang on to throughout the winter months and put in cold storage. These items, because instant potatoes cost so much more than having, growing our own, but even purchasing potatoes. So potatoes and onions, tomatoes, and some of those things that we can focus on keeping stored over the winter months. Our SOAR work crew, the litter pickup, thank you guys for keeping us up to date on where we need to focus in your guys' area. We appreciate that. The community's looking really good. This wind has blown people's trash cans over. We're aware of that. We're already getting calls about that to go out and pick up some litter there. We have some pictures here of out at the park. The skate park, our SOAR work group, they have done a fantastic job out at the skate park. They've went out and rebuilt things and painted everything. I've brought quite a few pictures tonight because we're very proud, of these girls and what they've done. Going out there and pressure washing, cleaning things up. Building the new ramps. It's amazing what these ladies take away from this and come back talking about in the evening, the help that they get from Christy and Greg, and there's the pro shop. So if you guys haven't been out and seen the pro shop yet, it looks fantastic. They've done a great job out there. And we appreciate, everything that Christy does for us with working with these ladies. Her and Greg do a fantastic job, and we truly appreciate them. Our programs, we have 5 this quarter, 5 SAP graduates. Our MRT completions are 21. MRT, anger management, trauma, a total of 53 graduates from these programs that we provide for the inmates at the jail. We have 3 industrial certificates that was earned. We have a little pilot program going on right now, and it's a workforce ready, industry ready, and we have someone that is currently working on this, and we're getting ready to open it up to our female SAP and SOAR program. Anger management and our trauma attendance as an all-time high. Not because everyone's angry, but because they've signed up for this, and it's something needed. They are excited about the programs out there that are going on. Our yoga continues to be extremely popular out there. I put in a request this week to the Department of Corrections to increase our SAP and SOAR. We're waiting to hear back from them. Once they, if they agree or disagree, then we'll send that to Max, let him look at the new contract. We have an occupancy of 95. We currently have 80, and we would like to move that up. And Amy Nelson, our director of our Shepherd's House SAP and SOAR out there, is here tonight, and I've asked her to come up here during my quarterly and, touch on, the importance of expanding this program. Our reentry program, they come out and meet. We have people that show up at the Franklin County Jail from Pikeville to Paducah, and they come out and they meet with our inmates that are 90 days from getting out, so they can be prepared wherever they may be going. If they're going back, and going to relocate or go to a halfway house, they come in and they meet with them so they can make sure that they're successful when they get out and they make that first visit to probation and parole. And another thing that we have done are IDs, birth certificates, and social security cards. The 27% of people that don't make it to their first probation and parole visit is because of this hurdle. And this has been studied through the Department of Corrections. They said I didn't have an ID, I didn't have a social security card, and I wish I had the numbers of how many people we've already provided. Every day we're getting IDs, social security cards, and birth certificates in the mail, and these people are able to walk out with it, or if they get released prior to, they call it back to the jail, and, we let them know, yes, we have your stuff, and they come back and pick their IDs up. Some will write us or email us and let us know that it's okay to mail it. We're mailing, I want to be careful mailing out social security cards, birth certificates. But Amy Nelson is here from Shepherd's House, and if the court doesn't mind, I'd like for her to talk to you guys for just a few minutes about the need of this extension of the expansion of 15 additional.
Well, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate being able to speak with you, gentlemen and ladies, tonight, and speaking on SAP and SOAR. I've met some of you, and most of you guys are more familiar with SOAR than you are SAP and the work that SOAR is doing in the community and all of the skills that these ladies are learning along the way. I know for majority of people in society, and when you see only one side of these ladies' lives, that's all you know. You don't know the broken ladies that we see and that we work with. Some of these ladies are ill-equipped as a child to deal with life. And then you wonder why they have a life that they do now. That's all they know. But to watch SOAR come back into the building, laughing and smiling, and they can't wait to get to the door to talk to you, to talk about the skills, talk about all of these places they've got to renovate. When the courthouse flooded and they got to see all of this history and be a part of it, it was an amazing experience for these ladies. Even when they know the weather's getting bad, they come in there before and they're like, the weather's supposed to be bad. Are you going to be okay if we sleep in? I'm like, well, it really depends on how long you're out there. So I do like to instill a little bit of, my military background in them, that this is just not how it is. You go out there and you're your own walking advertisement now. But now we have SAP, instead of worrying about counting the days to how many times they're going to get out, they're counting SOAR beds. The closer they get to graduation, it's like, hey, Miss Amy, we're at 19 beds in SOAR. Where am I going to go? Don't worry about it. We'll work it out. So to give these ladies a purpose from when completing a program, some of these ladies have not even completed high school, but now they're looking forward to completing another program. They are looking at what they can earn. They're looking at going back there and learning how to reintegrate back into society. And to hear that that's what they want now, and you have a reason to find ways to be a mom again, to be a sister and to be a daughter. I wish everybody could come and experience day 1 to 6 months later from these. It's an experience that you would never, ever forget. It is a labor of love up there, and that is why when we started running into, when these ladies start graduating SAP and we have a program with 19 one-bed empty, now you're starting to try to figure out these numbers. And I had approached Ms. Hopper and said, Ms. Hopper, what are we going to do? We've got a huge graduation coming up with ladies wanting to go to SOAR. What do we do? Guess what? We put our heads together and said, okay, we need to move forward if we're granted and approved. And I'm all behind pushing forward and giving these ladies everything that they need. And I appreciate everything that you guys do and support our program. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. Very well said.
Court, thank you very much. And when we hear something back from the Department of Corrections, we'll let Max know, what they've decided, if they would grant us the extra 15 beds. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Jailer Hopper? Squire Tanner?
Yes, sir.
A while back, we authorized you to change the canteen program, and y'all was going in to do that yourself. How's that program coming along?
The canteen is fantastic. It's fantastic. We have purchased a freezer. We will very soon be offering a hot cart, which means they can buy things that are frozen, and they'll be, and they know every other day when they have their commissary. But the commissary is fantastic, and our inventory is getting bigger and bigger.
Okay, I didn't think that was in, maybe I misheard about it, and you didn't mention that.
No, sir, I
know
didn't
we
mention
redid that here.
Yeah, no, sir, I didn't mention it.
That's the only question I have, only one other about the paving of the parking lot, and I'm sure that has, if it's appropriated in the budget that we're thinking about passing.
Yes, sir, it
then
is.
And then that would be bid out. Does that have to come
Um,
back to court to authorize that? That's a question for
Yes,
Mr.
sir,
Attorney.
and we have,
We have to, that's our property.
yeah, we've had people bid on it, and then that goes to your guys' hands, and it's out of our hands after that until, the court approves for us to move forward.
Answered my question.
Thank you, Squire. Any other questions for the jailer or any of her teammates while they're here?
Oh, Major will be up in just a minute.
Okay.
Save a lot of
I
questions
knew
for her.
he couldn't stand not being up on that podium. I know. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Alrighty. Next, I believe Mr. Mike Dees, our road super, is with us tonight. How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How y'all doing?
Oh, doing well. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Yes, sir. We've had a pretty busy couple weeks. I guess one of the biggest things we did was a county cleanup. It was my first one. And I think, if I read the email right, Ally said it was a total of 51 dumpsters
51,
that we emptied out. That was a lot of trash. Then we had the storms the other night. That took us a couple days to get all that cleaned up. And then, other than that, it's just been routine maintenance.
Well, good deal. Well, we appreciate everything y'all are doing. I know that night, y'all had to go out a couple times in the middle of the night, so we appreciate you. And first responders, fire department, was super busy that night, and sheriff's department, so we appreciate everybody working together. What questions do we have for Mike? You said something about the floor too. You talk about that?
Oh, yeah, they started, 2 days ago putting our new floor down.
Okay, that's what I thought. You'd
And they
said
got the
something other
first
day.
section of it done this
Okay.
evening.
Y'all seem happy with it?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you for being with us. This is probably not a question for you, but just a comment based on something that you said. Given that in the spring, we had 51 dumpsters and could have had more, had the turnover happened more quickly, because there was stuff everywhere. Is there an opportunity for us to go after some funding for some type of fall event?
We
I've
briefly
been
talked,
trying
yeah.
to get some things set
Yeah.
up so we could talk through some of these things.
Yeah,
So-
and we briefly talked a little bit,
Because
just nonchalantly the other day, and we also talked,
Yeah.
because a lot of the, came out of downtown. And
Yes.
so
I do
Ally
know.
was gonna contact them about maybe coordinating one on their own with us. So it's the whole community, not just in the county. So, yes, that's.
Yeah,
we're-
we need to.
She
we
wasn't
need to
sure
have
about
that.
any grant money per se, but I do think we should be able to have some partners the
Yeah,
next
we
one.
need to have that
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just
Thank
where
you.
it's not so rough on their guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah,
It was a lot.
It
They
was,
stay
it was,
busy, for sure.
yeah, it was busy.
yeah. Good deal. Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next is judges' report. So on the 16th, I just want to say thank you to Chief and Assistant Chief Mertz. They invited me to tag along, and fire department donated some of the, I would say, used lightly equipment that we no longer need. But they have an amazing program there, and I'm happy that the county's involved in it now. The city fire's been involved in it for a couple of years, but it's moving along well, and we just support them and everything they're doing out there. I see Squire Blackburn smiling, yeah, so we were out there in his neck of the woods at the Career Center, so I just want to thank the instructors, staff, the Career Center, and everything they're doing to try to prepare these kids for the future, and hopefully the more we get involved, there could be a potential to recruit, so glad we could work with the school system on that. We were just talking about on the 18th was the dumpster day. Picture of a dumpster, but it was super busy. Super busy. I'm sure we have pictures somewhere. So that kind of simplifies it right there. It's a dumpster. Yep, dumpster day. So, but anyways, now appreciate the road department and everybody that came out and helped. It was a all hands on deck, to Squire Sebastian's point, where we are trying to figure out, but even if you do the math at 51 times, $500-600 a dumpster, it adds up pretty quick in our budget. So we're trying to look for some more partners and some other opportunities. So Allie's working on that. On the 20th, and some of you all were there also, was the greenhouse ribbon cutting from Western Hills. I couldn't be prouder. I mean, those kids work hard and they're growing things and they're learning things, and they can tell you a little bit. They even let Chuck Fletcher in the picture. Look at that. So, but they do a great job. There's Squire Sebastian. And teachers really care, and I know that it took them a while to get that greenhouse going. They're trying to do something last year, and it finally worked out. But I think timing was perfect. Everything was in bloom, and they were open. I mean, there's Squire Wisman, and they were selling materials. So that's a great thing to teach kids. On the 20th, I believe the sheriff and I were at OMAC, Operation Making a Change, graduation. It's at Thornhill. It's for some kids that just kind of need to be there, and they need some extra help and some assistance, and very nice. Sheriff, you remember the gentleman's name that runs that program? Is that Lexington?
Gio or Gino?
Gio, super nice guy, but he really cares about those kids, and I think there was 8 that graduated that night, and some of their parents were there too, and the parents even spoke up and said they could see a change, even though it's one day a week, but they could see a change in their kids when they got home. So we appreciate him coming to Frankfort and with Thornhill and working on that. On the 21st, and Mike Dees there is still talking about this amazing class. He and I took the Bridges class. Oh, that's my certificate. I haven't seen that, yeah. So they came up last year as the first year that the county judge has to take it in order to qualify for a certain pool of money. Our road superintendent has to take 101 and 102, so he gets to do one other class. But they were very into it. Engineer taught it, and he was very into bridges for 3 hours. So, but it was good. It was interesting. Learned a lot, but glad that's kind of done. On the 22nd, I went to a Bluegrass executive meeting. That's always good to see everybody there and talk about what all the counties are doing together. On the 22nd, Earth Day, Allie did a Main Street cleanup. So there's Miss Tina there. So some of the staff and some of you all went around downtown and picked up trash. And it's amazing that, unfortunately, there is trash all over the place. So there's our AmeriCorps girl there. So, but anyways, that's a great event that we do every Earth Day. On the 24th was the Liberty Tree Project at Lakeview Park. So we were appreciative that my wife's company donated a tree in memory of grandmother because she was a big DAR person. So we put it out there at the Carter House. I think you all can tell where we are. It's kind of near the CT, to the left of the drive coming in. They've lost another tree, but yeah, Tulip Poplar State Tree, but it was nice. It was short and sweet, about 20 minutes, and the History Center spoke and DAR spoke. So it's nice. They're doing it all in 120 counties for the 250th birthday all across the state. So glad that we could participate with that. On the 25th was the Derby kickoff and Common Fest downtown. There's a lot of people there, so not much else to say. It's kind of the kickoff for the whole Derby, and it's in full stride right now. So this is Derby week in Louisville, so it's moving along. There's Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. So it was attended by a lot of people, and they had good weather. On the 27th was the COCO fundraiser at ovarian cancer. It was at the Foundry this year, and I believe it was Jenny record year. Yeah, for attendance and for money raised for ovarian cancer. So very happy, and a couple of us were there to help with that. But thank Jenny Durr too. She's on the committee that helps put that on. So they've donated over $402,000 to UK ovarian cancer organizations, and they also award a $2,000 nursing scholarship. So they had some big items this year. Dan Liebman got really involved, and they had some really good live auction and silent auction. Scartana, I heard you won some, didn't you?
Bought 2 raffle tickets and they pulled my name out.
What about that? That's pretty good. That's pretty, yeah.
But it was, then I gave it back, most of it.
No, good. Yeah. It's a great organization, so appreciate the community coming together and supporting that. Today, I was on Cable 10 this morning. I took Kelly Anderson with me, and we just really talked about all the cool things that Thornhill's doing. I tell Kelly all the time that she's not telling her story enough, and we're pilot program for NCFL and all kinds of things in this community. We talked about the jail quite a bit because we're leading the state, I believe Kelly said, for GEDs, 25 GEDs now.
And we look to hold that record in 2026.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, we had a good time. We had a lot of fun this morning. She's a lot to kind of keep honed in. Her Kathy got on this thing today. I walked off the stage. I said, "What are y'all doing? I'm done." So it was a lot of fun. So we appreciate it. And I also want to do a shout out to the plant board for the other night. They worked all night up until I think 1 o'clock the next day. They had almost 6,000 people out of power that day. So I know fire department worked hand in hand with them on a lot of jobs. So we appreciate that. And then today, I was out at the new Target, shot a video with the mayor, Penny Peebler, Economic Development, and Jason Taylor, just kind of talking about where that project is. It's going to open, I think, end of July. So everything's on point, moving right along. So we've been busy. So that is my judge's report. Alrighty, next we're going to move on for the approval. Anybody have anything for the meeting of April 14th, 2026? Alrighty, next agenda item is the minutes from a regular meeting of April 15th, 2026. Alrighty, and next, I believe, is the jail item. Captain Lars coming up. Wasn't sure. I was going to guess, and I would have guessed wrong, so I'm glad I just held, because I had 1 out of 3, and I was going to pick wrong, but I'm glad you're standing there.
Yes, thank you all. So tonight we have on the memorandum of agreement for the jail SAP and SOAR. And this is a 2-year agreement, and this is for the per diem they pay, which is additional to the state inmate per diem. So this is the $10 a day that they pay towards the SAP and then the SOAR inmates.
Say that again, that's the $10 a day is for what again, please?
That's what they pay for the SAP and SOAR inmates, and so it's a per diem that goes above the regular state inmate per diem. It's just a perk.
And this is something, correct me if I'm wrong, we vote on this every year?
Yes,
Okay.
This is exact same. So if you look on page 3 for your SAP, this is for 60, and then if you go to page 6 for the SOAR, it's for 20 inmates.
All right, do we have any questions? Squire Wisman.
Could you, right now you said we have 50 SAP, 17 SOAR. You were just talking about asking for additional allocation.
In SOAR, yes.
Walk us through how that will work. Because this is a biennium allocation by the state, right? Are they accepting sort of, I know they're encouraged by our
So
program.
if
How
we
is
were
that?
to make any changes, if we got accepted to have more inmates, we would go back and do an amendment on the agreement.
Okay, so
with
they
the
have
state.
additional allocation to give out. It's
Yes.
just, okay, thanks.
Any other questions on this agenda item? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next agenda item, I'm going to ask that we table. There was a meeting today. We're still working with the sewer department on one of their pump stations. So if it's okay with everybody, we're going to table that agenda item. We will table it until the next meeting, next court meeting. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. So if there are questions we have about some terms in the agreement, do we hold those, I guess, just then until next court? All right,
All righty,
thank you.
thank you.
Judge, in the interim, can I ask, I don't know where the designs of this project are. I'd like to put eyes on it before we vote on this. Can we request those either be distributed to us, or do we need to go to H&B and set up a meeting?
No. We can get them.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. They're readily available, so
Okay.
y'all want to see where it's going to run and how it's going to go?
I'd like to, I had some questions about the technicality of how this agreement is going to work that's not really specified in here, so.
Okay.
That
I mean,
may
if you have
answer questions.
specifics, we could get a meeting with H&B, who's kind of dealt with the whole thing, and I'm happy to do that if you want to do that.
Probably, so I'll get with you
Okay.
then, thanks.
Alrighty. Next is the and I'm not sure, Penny's unable to be here tonight. She had another meeting, it sounds like. So I guess in March, their building was sold. Our economic development had nowhere to go. Their attorneys have been working with our attorneys since February, March, about this agreement. So this is what she's bringing before us, and they would like to pay $2,000 a month to be in our building. And I don't know, Jackie, anything else you want to add to that? Max, you say anything about it? I know you all went back and forth for a while on the agreement, but everything good? Okay. Squire Wisman.
I just, maybe someone can explain, I mean, this is an entity that's created and funded fully by the two local government bodies that's then gonna give us our own cash back for leases. I would rather say that no cash is transferred and that's part of our contribution or something every year, or it's based on some square footage that we allocate fair market value every budget year or something like that, more than, and I've brought this up about one of our other leases before, that I just don't know, is there a legal reason that we need a $24,000 a year that we give them and then we get back? It would seem to be easier to take
Probably
that.
half of that is ours, because half would be the city's. And
It could be, it's our building, we could say that that's
Yeah,
fully our amount
but
now.
I think it has to do with accounting and audits and things like that. I think they're just trying to keep it all clean as far as how it goes. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge, and I would agree with that. And also, having read the material, I'm sure you did, they go to a month-to-month lease starting in July. So the billing may not be there. So we're not gonna front the billing to bill them the amount ahead. It's on a month-to-month basis. However, we have to go back and receive the previous information from them so that the appropriate invoice can be generated. And then it is important for us to know how much space is being occupied, because there's been a considerable discussion about other things going in that space. And so those, we potentially could have competing interests for space at some point. So for audit purposes, this is much cleaner.
Thank you, Squire.
Thank you, Judge.
Well, Judge, related to that, that was my next question. Squire kind of got ahead of it already. We've talked about some plans for that space. How is this going to coincide with it? Because we already authorized the development of that floor for other purposes, but.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the state wanted the floor used for that purpose, so we're still kind of working those details out, looking for other space for that, what we had talked about. That was kind of out of our controls. That was kind of a fire marshal thing. So, yeah.
Good to know.
Squire.
I'll just express my opinion. I understand keeping things clean and where it goes to audit and keeping everything up to date, but I also understand Scar Wiston over here. We give them the money and then get it back, even though I know half of it comes from the city technically. But if that, any adjustment that can be done on that $2,000 should be considered, but I'm not saying I'd vote against it. But maybe in the future, we could look at a lower price, or I like to give it to them, but if that's a real problem about keeping it clean and audited, I understand that too.
And that was a number they brought to me. They're like, we think that's fair market value. We're not trying to get a handout. And, we're in a spot where we sold our building. They are currently looking for a building. They would like to combine forces with a couple other entities and be
they
more
were
in
in
like, St. Clair or somewhere like that. But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. That's just.
Well, the building they were in, they didn't own that building, did they? They were renting it.
Yeah, they owned it.
And I think what happened, and it happened pretty fast, was, if you remember, that building was kind of set up like a duplex.
Yeah.
Somebody came in to buy the left side of the building, and they approached them and say, we'll give you X for it, and it was a good deal. And so the board, they didn't want to be out on the west side anyways. It wasn't the proper place for them, so that's why it all kind of happened fast. Go ahead, Squire.
I'm just going to express my opinion. I've said this will be the third time about leasing entities that I would rather hold cash anytime we can in our entity instead of getting it back in some which way. And I think there's more value to the organizations that are out looking for grant funding to have an in-kind donation from our court than cash value on their books more often than not, that we're contributing to their their operations, but not to their cash value. I think I know in these nonprofit situations, maybe not in this instance as much, that's more valuable sometimes than cash in the books. So just, I'm hesitant on this one, this way anyway.
Is the court good to move on? I mean, they brought it to us. I mean, obviously this is the way they want to do it right now, and we can go from there later down the road. Thank you.
Judge?
Yes, I'm sorry. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, I apologize.
You're fine.
How much space is being occupied or utilized right now, will be utilized?
I don't have the
as
square
part of
footage here, but right now it's the old conference room to the right and then that next office. That's
Okay,
it. That's
all
it. It's just there's two rooms there.
Okay.
Yep.
So that, okay, all right.
Not the original one on the left.
Not the courtroom.
Not the courtroom. It was
The
just that
conference
conference room.
room.
Yes.
So
So it's
they
not the
utilize
first
that.
couple offices and all that. It's after that.
So it was where Ann sat and then the conference room.
Yes.
Got it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yep. Alrighty, next, I believe, this is about the second reading of the occupational tax there. Look, you all hide. I can see where everyone, Amy's the only one that came. Oh, Belinda's over there. Who's in that corner? Nobody? Okay. Surprised Francis had to figure that out. Yeah, they all hide. Hello, Summer. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Good evening. What I've got is the second reading and approval of amending ordinance number 14207. We made some changes after the first reading, so you all have those. Basically, we left the vendor fare definition the same, and then I did add wording for the nonprofit, qualified nonprofits, and how that would work with that, and they would be exempt from that vendor fare fee. So,
Thank you.
Summer, I just want to say thank you for working on this. I know it's
You're
been
welcome.
going back and forth and back and forth, and
Right.
I think we're finally about there. Does anybody have any
Anyway.
questions, concerns, comments? Squire Wisman.
Just one thing, and Summer, I meant to get with you and apologize I didn't previously after
Okay.
I read the draft. The qualified nonprofits, we don't really define qualified nonprofits, but we don't really have to because the federal government does that.
correct.
But you have section 501c3 specifically. There's 13 designations of nonprofits, which can include cemeteries, churches. The C3 is
Right.
only an educational entity. I would like to just remove that last three and just say any nonprofit by designation of, under the 501c status.
501c status.
Not just that three, because churches technically aren't threes. They're not educational institutions.
Okay with that?
Right,
Um,
okay.
So if we can remove that, that would qualify, that would make all nonprofits qualified equally.
Qualified
So,
for that.
County attorney says he is fine with that, so.
Is that,
Yep.
is that okay to
Yeah,
do
so we'll
that?
do that as
But
amended.
otherwise, I think this is much more clear for folks, and if I can just go into a little bit, Judge, that that conversation we had last time concerned a few folks. This exempts in this manner now all nonprofits, so that would include your churches, your
Correct.
senior citizen center, your local charity that's fundraising for sports or kids' activities, but it also includes yard sales. That yard sales under 3 days will be completely
Are
exempted from.
completely exempt from that, because we weren't trying to, infringe on any of that information.
Thank you.
All right, anything else for Summer on this one? We're good? Summer, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty, next, I believe everybody remembers Judge Wingate came and talked to us about renaming the courthouse, and he's talked to AOC and all the appropriate people. Does anybody have anything to discuss on that agenda item to rename our courthouse to the John Marshall Harlan Courthouse?
So if they have a big convention here, 500.
All righty, next, I believe our treasurer is with us.
Hey, Judge.
Oh, I'm
just
sorry.
Just
Yep.
a quick question.
Yep.
That this will go to AOC and have to be considered among others.
Yeah.
It's not just standalone on us, just
Correct.
so everyone
I think it starts with
understands.
us on the local level because we legally
Yep.
own the building and take care of it, but then, yes, it will go through the whole circuit, and they will take care of that, not
Thank
us.
you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a good question. All right.
And Judge, the only clarification that I wanted to see that was mentioned by the judge when he came in was that this is just in name only, not physically in any way to the building, but the agreement doesn't say that, but I just thought we'd mention it, that that's our intent again.
Yeah, it's really just gonna be a plaque, I believe, that,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Perfect. Making sure. All right, Amy, third time's the charm. Let's try it again. Get a little workout.
Okay, so,
So Amy, before we begin, can we talk about, just real quick, how the budget process works?
sure. So in March, the judge and I start meeting with our department heads to start the process. The department heads come to us with their ask, or if they are, most of the line items are the same as the year before, and then they give us their ask for the upcoming year. So once we finish with that, I go into like a cave and put the whole budget together. And at that point, I met with the judge and said, we probably need to make some changes here. It's a little over my comfort level, the spending. And so he took it from there and talked to each department head. And they were able to determine what wasn't a necessity, what could possibly wait till the next year. And at that point, the judge and I bring it before the Finance Committee with Squire Sebastian and Squire Dicus, and our department heads come to that as well. It's a very lengthy process. I think we spend about 3 days together. And from there, we do a committee of the whole where we were all present, and we go through the highlights of the budget, anything that has changed, anything that's new. And then today is presenting it. So up until today, it has been the judge's budget. Today, it becomes the fiscal court's budget. And so this is the time where if there's changes to it, that can be done. We will have the first reading on May 13th. After the first reading, it will go to DLG for approval, and then it'll come back to you in June for the second reading for adoption. So that's the process of the budget.
Perfect. Squire Sebastian.
Can I just add one
Yeah,
thing?
you're fine.
That I think our treasurer is certainly saying overtly, by statute, it is called the judge's budget.
Yeah.
So as she
That's
refers to that, that is by statute. It's not someone in here deciding that this is all the judge bringing something forward. Working with staff to do that is called that in statute.
It is,
Thank
yes. All of this, all the deadlines,
Yep.
that's exactly right. And presenting it to you tonight, that's by statute as well. It becomes the fiscal court's budget.
Amy, I want to thank you. I want to thank the Finance Committee, and especially want to thank department heads. Because like Amy said, when the numbers came in, it was pretty high. And so each and every one of them were very easy to work with. I called them personally and I said, you have these line items, what can you wait on? And if, maybe our numbers come in higher than we're anticipating, then we could add a couple things to it if need be. But we want to pass a budget that is close to accurate as we can. And so I just appreciate everybody that's worked on it. And like I said, I don't know how many times we've gone over this budget. All the meetings are public. Anybody could have come. It's been a lot. The committee of the whole was a great meeting for everyone to kind of talk about it. And okay.
Okay, so what I'm presenting to the court now, it's a budget of 56.976. Let me say that differently. 56,976,390. Excluding capital expenses and federal projects, it's a budget of 44,969,390. So since our committee of the whole, I did have a few changes. CAECO did bring their insurance, the premiums to me with workers' comp and the liability. So I did make some changes, and in your packet, you have what those changes are. They also declared a dividend of $79,500. So I worked that into the revenue, which reduced, so you see the same numbers. The total numbers are the same when we met last time, but that reduced what we're drawing from the reserves. So also, we had talked, the judge had talked with the sheriff about making some changes from the vehicle to the body cam payment. So I did that. You'll see that change in there. It's a wash because I was able to take some money from workers' comp. Last week, I sent out an email to all the magistrates and said, this is coming up. This is your time to make changes. Is there anything that you'd like to discuss? I did have one email that wanted to talk about our outside agencies in regarding to the opioid. Our outside agencies, they either get general funds or opioid funds, or both. So I guess.
Yeah,
can we-
I believe it was Squire
can we discuss
Dykus
that?
who put she's the one that sent the email. And so, would you mind explaining what your request is and why?
Yeah, I'm happy to. One of the things that is a little annoying is that, these nonprofits get money from lots of different places, right? And right now, the state opioid abatement committee has handed out some funds, right? But when we were going over our budget, we did not know who was going to get those funds, right? And so, we had one of our, I think, really strong nonprofits that does a lot of this work and is a huge part of this continuum of care, did not get anything from the state this year. And they got a lot last year, nothing this year. So I am requesting that we take a look at Yes Arts again. Can somebody tell me what we gave them originally?
Amy, do you have
Can
that in
you,
front of
Amy?
you? Or Belinda?
know what they got last year?
No. What did we already this
Your
year?
recommendation was 30.
30, okay. So,
The request was 67.5.
yes, it was 67.5. Sorry, and she has sent me another email. It has not come through. I don't know why, but it just hasn't. So I'm just gonna wing it. They do so much, and they're just like all of our nonprofits, and I'm so proud of them. They all work together so well, and it is a true continuum of care, and if one of them goes under, there is a huge gap, and that's exactly what the opioid funds are for. So I'll let you guys think about that, and she asked for 67.5 before she found out that she didn't get anything from the state, and we've only given her 30. I just think we need to provide more assistance for Yes Arts this year.
All right, anybody want to lead it off?
I think it's a great budget. I reviewed it, had time to go over it, and I think we'll just move forward.
Do you want to not consider this one request here?
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
How much did you ask for?
Well, they asked for 67.5
I see
to
what
begin
they
with,
asked
right?
for,
We
but I
gave
don't know
them
how much more
30.
state funding we got.
If it's up to me, I'm gonna double what we've given them. So you guys need to think about
Squire Wiseman?
what you think about that.
Squire Dykus and I have been to many opioid trainings. I've tried to go to as many as I possibly can in the last 3 years. And I have to say that in almost every single one of those trainings for the whole state, Yes Arts is used as an example of the ideal use of these funds for
It's prevention.
Prevention, youth prevention, assessment of those at risk or in high-risk situations or already in the mix. So I'm wondering if they didn't, was the request predicated on additional funding that they needed? And you said you don't know this, but
Yeah, I don't have it in front of
we
me,
can
I'm
make that choice before May 4th, of course. But I'm wondering if they didn't get anything from the state, if that exacerbates the need even more for
It
their
does,
funds.
and that's exactly why I'm bringing it up tonight, because I just think that our nonprofits take care of our people. They do the work that we can't do, and especially our kids. And I know the judge, we've had this conversation many times. We all worry about our kids, right? Like, we don't want them to get into that cycle of abuse, that cycle of addiction, because it takes years and years to get out of it, generally. And so, for me, this is just, it's a no-brainer. We can't do without Yes Arts. We don't need to do without Yes Arts.
Squire Tanner?
I have a question for whoever knows the answer. How much additional funds came from the state? The additional opioid funds that you didn't know about when doing the budget?
Millions. But there's a group that went in together and applied for those funds. They got, I don't even know what the number is, it's a lot. But it was ASAP Board, Wanda Joyce Robinson, and Thornhill, what's the cards? The yes cards.
That's through the health department.
Yeah, so they were all together. They all applied together. For whatever reason, Yes Arts was not a part of that. And so they were just left out completely. Does that make sense?
I guess I misunderstood what you said to start with. I thought you said that the state, when y'all did the budget, you didn't know the state had
We did.
added this money.
We did. I found that out yesterday.
Squire Sebastian.
Let me try to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Judge.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
So I think where this is going is the state was also entertaining funding opportunities. It is not funding that came to the county from the state. They entertained funding opportunities from all across the Commonwealth. The one that they chose to fund out of Franklin County, which had no relationship to a request to the county, was this collaborative partnership between 4 entities: the Health Department, Thornhill, ASAP,
and Wanda Joyce.
ASAP, and Wanda Joyce. So if you recall, last year, the jail came to us and said, hey, we're going to collaborate with 4 other entities and we're going to put in for state funding. That one was not funded. So this year, another attempt was made back to the state. So the state didn't give Franklin County any extra money. They entertained funding opportunities from across the Commonwealth. And for Franklin County entities were lucky enough to get money. But it didn't come to us to distribute.
Yeah, it just goes directly
I
to the
think-
nonprofit.
I'm hoping that answers your question, because you asked what money we got, and that's not it. We didn't get it.
No, that answers the question, but
Okay.
I'm not sure that's exactly the way I understood Kelly's presentation of the county did, I guess, but not through the county.
I'm talking about the money that we already have.
Yeah.
We haven't
In the
gotten
opiate
extra
abatement funds,
funds. Right.
And we
Because some of that goes to went to the county, so, some of it
we
goes to the city
designated
and some
30,
of it
and
to
you're
the
saying
state.
it should be more because they got nothing from the state.
So Squire Dacus, let me ask you just as a
Yeah, sure.
question. Do they, are they approved to use opioid funds?
Oh, yeah,
I'm just making sure.
absolutely,
All right.
yes.
I'm gonna throw out 30.
Okay.
Got 30 additional?
Oh, add opioid funds.
I agree with that.
Well, Judge, if it's numbers, I'm gonna say let's fully fund them, but before we do that, since we have time before the 4th, or the first reading in May, we have everything except for the yes cards that came in with requests to us that we have funded or we're considering funding with opioid funds was funded at about half of what the request was. So I'm really just wondering how the state's decision is impacting the programs that we're applying without knowledge of what they were going to get. Otherwise, maybe some need less, maybe some need more now. So I'd like to, maybe if we could ask Belinda to reach out to those folks and ask how the state funding is impacting their programs and if their need is greater or less, because I feel like those opioid funds are set aside a little bit separately than our usual funding patterns for nonprofits for us to make the biggest impact, and we should have more information since it's available to us before we make the final decisions on those.
Thoughts from the court on that?
I got one more.
Go ahead, Squire Tanner.
This is a statement more than a question. If everybody here thinks that if the increased money to this Yes Arts would have to come from the opioid funds, which we have available, is that correct?
Yes.
So if that's where the consensus is, the difference between 60,000 and 67,000 is not huge money. I mean, not if you say it real fast. So if you want to raise it 30 to make it 60, and if the funds are available in the opioid funds, then we should just make them whole. But maybe they don't need the 67,000.
No, they absolutely do, which is why I'm doing this tonight, because
I have been to one of their presentations out there, and they're doing a great job.
they're
I do
doing
know
great.
that.
Well, they work with kids, they work with adults, they do treatment and prevention.
Yep.
It's
Let's
important.
not forget too, though, is we being the task force is working on a transportation infrastructure project. So we should have that by the next court meeting that they're going to present through Bluegrass Cap and all these entities trying to get kids and kids to
Where
Boys
they
and
need
Girls
to be.
Club, people home from their, to work. I mean, it's this whole infrastructure they're designing right now, so that will be coming too. Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. We're talking around what we don't know. We don't know what the request was for the state. We don't know, I'm not talking about money, we don't know what they were applying that to. We saw the application they sent to us, so their application to the state could be for something in addition, we don't know. So I think it is important for Belinda, maybe
Yeah.
our community development specialist, to reach out and try to get that
Yeah,
information.
get a little bit
just
more
so we can-
information.
Okay,
Right,
she
so
just,
we can
she
see.
just texted me.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and I don't think I have the whole application or anything, but I have, it says the original ask to state was $84,375, but we would really appreciate anything we can muster up. If 67.5 is better, that's okay. So what they're saying is, this 84,375 is what they needed.
Yeah,
They didn't get any of it.
okay. So, Squire Wilson.
I'm wondering, Amy, could you tell us the proposed, and we haven't as a body committed anything to any of these nonprofits yet that was to do tonight, right? To go through each one of them and decide as a body. But we have $167,500 that the committee recommended. How much funding do we have sitting in the opioid task fund right now?
So if you will look in your budget,
Just wanting the nonprofits to know what we've got sitting there and what we're thinking.
on page, let's see, I'm looking at the old one, I believe it's page 12. We're looking at Fund 74.
You talking about the
Yes.
proposal that was at the work session or now?
Now, so page 12 of the current budget. There's the breakdown. It's roughly 490,000. And and this is important to remember, so we've got 167,500 proposed for outside agency grants, and then the rest of that is in a contingency line item. So the money's there for when the court decides, so even if we get into the new budget year, that money's sitting there, and the court can decide how it's going to be used. So it's not something that has to be amended in. I'll amend in any payments that I get. Of course, I don't know what those are going to be or when they're coming in. So we're roughly looking at 490,000.
So I just wanted to put it out there in the ether so the public knows, and the nonprofits that are applying, that I really want to know what the bigger picture looks like that's state funded and who didn't get anything, that we have 167.5 probably committed after tonight, but we have another 322,000, and the only thing that I know we're working on as a county is the transportation
Yeah, that's
option.
gonna be well
So-
over six figures.
Yeah.
So, without knowing
So-
that figure, and let's remember, I mean, this money has to last. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We're not gonna get this
Yeah.
money year after year. We might get $20,000 a
We
year.
get some.
So, yeah, but, I will have by the next meeting the number from the infrastructure transportation. So that should help guide us too, so, okay, so Belinda, you can reach out to, Elle, please, and let's kind of get let's see where they are with everything, and,
I'm going to ask her to send this to you. I don't know why it's not coming through my email, but I'm just going to ask her to shoot it over to you, if that's okay, and then you can get it out to everybody. Does that work? Thank you.
So I guess since they asked for 65 through this application process, is the court saying that's what you would like to fund them at this point? I need a number to drop into that line item.
Yes,
That's what
I
I'm.
understand that.
Okay.
If there's additional funding that's necessary, that needs to come through a different process.
so the consensus of the court, make them whole for their request, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you heard from me
So-
and Eric, but I don't know about him.
Our community development specialist, they asked for 65 or 67?
67,500.
Okay, 67.5. So to be 100% in, is that what the court is saying? 67.5?
Yes.
But we've already done 30, I guess, on our general
Right, so it
fund, so
just
then you're saying
adds.
37.5, yes.
Yeah.
No,
Additional.
it's
The 30 is for
opioid.
opioid funds.
Oh, it was?
Yes.
Well, I thought it all
Yes,
was.
it was
Now,
all,
just a minute.
yes.
So
The
my understanding-
37.5 would not be the increase, that would all come from opioid funds, would it
Yes.
not? Okay, thank you.
Would say Belinda?
That's what I wanted to confirm.
Yeah.
You all are saying you want to do 67.5 all in opioid funds?
That's what I'm hearing. Am I hearing anything different from anybody?
I'm okay with that.
All right, Amy, let's drop it in there for the line item for right now.
Okay.
So is that your only request to go over tonight?
That is all of the emails that I received, yes.
All righty. So is court good with everything? We've gone over and over this budget. Everything's been public, meetings, committee of the holes. Squire Herod, what do you want to do?
I think we move it on.
Huh?
Let's move on.
Okay.
Judge,
All
I
right.
have several questions that I asked at our last meeting, if I could, a couple of things. We asked at the committee of the whole, I asked about the jail and asking if there was a need to put money for a condition assessment of the building, and we were supposed to have an answer back about that. I didn't know if anybody had heard if we need to set aside an answer or
We're
not.
going in close tonight.
Okay. I'll wait on that then.
Yep.
And then there was some discussion about trying to put the solar for this building.
Can't get a hold of Andy, so I'm gonna keep trying, because I need a number from him, so.
He sent us, I was just looking up, and he sent us a scope for like 3 projects, which was this building and the 2 next door. And one was $165,600. One was, I think, 92,000, no, sorry, 43,000, I think it was. And one was like 51,000.
Did he have which one
And
was this building? Was
This
321?
building was a larger system. He kind of gave us a couple of options for that, but the 165.6 was this building, and there were incentives available for 21,000 and 66,000 of that. So the net, I believe, was about 120,000 in expenses once we got the likely incentives back. And just for the court's edification, the savings in electrical usage was like $196,000 over the period of, I think it was 11 years to pay off the system fully, and quite a bit about that. So I could circulate that email. I found it again and forgot about it until we started court today, but.
Squire, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Can we go ahead and have the discussion we're gonna have in closed? I remain very concerned about being promised energy savings. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
just really
Amy,
concerned.
let me ask you this, you had made the comment, because, you know, even some of the conversation with department heads, you know, because we don't know how our fourth quarter is gonna come in, there would be an opportunity to add something to the budget if we decided to do a capital campaign like solar, if it made sense. Is
Well,
that-
we can always amend things
Yeah.
in. Yes, when we get into the new budget year, that's
Yeah.
always an option.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's something we need to probably take to the committee and probably get Andy back in here to talk about. I just don't want to fire on that, but yeah.
We can do it, but
Is it a grant? Is that what this is?
we would, to my understanding, we would front the entire price, and then there would be rebates to us, cash rebates through 2 federal programs.
If they're there.
That they're eligible, but
They are, but they're going away.
they're going
That's the
away like
problem, so.
in 3 or 4 months or something,
And,
so we
yeah,
needed
the
to actively
project
order
would
them.
have to be, which it could be completed by like October or something like that, so. Yeah, we can talk about that further, because that would be a good capital project.
And then, Judge, I also had a question about, we had talked about it, and I brought it up again, that we had a priority for a jail fence of the campus that we said was a priority of this body to do, and that we were going to do it if we didn't get a grant, and then we ultimately put a grant towards the cameras, and I'm just wondering if we should put that back in, because that was a top priority of mine, and I still think it's necessary, so.
I believe the jail said when they wanted the cameras, that would do away with the need for the fence.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That was their selling point on getting all the cameras that we approved in the court meeting.
I don't remember it that way, but.
I do.
Yeah, we can talk to the jailer, but in all of our conversations, she hasn't mentioned that fence again. It's all been about this cameras and getting them updated.
Well, I know the jailer doesn't want the fence, but I disagree.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, well, she's an elected official.
it's our budget again.
Okay.
Our facility's our budget. And then are we gonna walk through each one of these, decisions about what the committee recommendation was for these nonprofits versus what the whole body wants to do here? Or we wanna accept the committee's amounts, because we didn't walk through those to make a decision at all?
We talked about them during the committee of the whole, we didn't
Yeah.
make any changes there. What is the?
There was a couple that were questioned about what we wanted to do, and there's still at least 2 that don't have an amount, I think. CASA was one, I thought, and the fair was maybe another, that there wasn't an amount put in, and we said we couldn't make those decisions at that meeting.
CASA does have an amount, it's 20,000.
I thought there were two. Squire Sebastian, you had one or two that you wanted us to make a decision on for sure.
Thought it was more like 4 to 6. I don't have my notes from the committee of the whole. I did not bring them. I
Okay.
apologize
Yeah.
for not
Squire
having.
Tanner?
This is kind of contradictory to, I
Normally I
don't
bring
like to
my notes.
get in too big a debate here, but Amy sent us out an email and asked us to send anything back to her that we wanted changes in an email, and the only one she got is from Kelly Dacus, not from me, or according to what I heard her say, nobody else sent anything in, and we had an opportunity to do so. So I'm assuming that everybody was satisfied with those numbers, except for the one Squire Dacus brought up.
Amy, I'm gonna ask you, is there anything missing on your spreadsheet that doesn't have a number assigned to it with the non-profit entities?
I'm gonna let Belinda answer that, this is her.
Well, I believe there is a number assigned to everything, but my recollection from the committee, the whole meeting, was that we couldn't make any changes because it was just a,
Okay, do you have any highlighted, do you have one or two that are highlighted that you felt like still needed to be looked at as a full body?
I believe we were talking about the fair, there were some questions about that.
Okay.
And then also,
I don't remember us asking
I
nothing.
think it was the CASA program.
God, I must have been asleep.
I thought so. I had notes on both of those.
Okay, Belinda, would you mind, is it okay with the court, we talk about those two items, since Belinda thinks they weren't resolved? Squire?
I'm sorry, I think we do 20,000 a year for CASA pretty much every year.
Yes.
So I don't know why that
Yeah.
would change.
Okay,
And the way I.
go ahead,
I
Squire, no,
apologize,
go
Judge.
ahead, we're just
Thank you.
talking, yeah, thank you.
The way I recall, there were some that had some split discussion
Right.
about the amount. And that seemed to be 4 to 6. I can't remember exactly the number. I don't have my notes with me. If I had a note here to see which ones, I could tell you, but I just don't have my notes with me.
I do have
But-
those notes if the
And
court
am I-
would like to, if you all would like to touch on those where it
Let's
was
just
a
try to
split.
briefly touch on them, it should be pretty easy, there's only a couple of them, so.
Okay, let me go down through here.
And the gap wasn't a major gap.
No, it
They were
wasn't.
small,
No.
There are small requests and
Small-
yeah.
small
Okay.
discussion points.
And Belinda, I hope I'm not stepping on your feet here. The first one that I have is an entity called One of Us Kentucky, and they asked for 100,000, and the committee recommendation was 7,500. And that one, the recommendation, one
That's correct.
One was 0, one was 10,000, and one was 5,000.
Yep.
So the recommendation went with 7,500.
And so,
And there were specific conditions.
yeah, the thought with that is because it's a brand-new entity, they don't have a track record, I know she's doing some cool stuff,
No,
but
this is, Judge, I'm sorry, this is different.
this is different?
This is a different one. This is the minister, this is,
Okay, it's still for supplies, though.
it's for supply,
Yeah,
like
okay,
that's the
thank
main
you.
revenue.
I'm getting the
That's
two
right.
mixed up, I apologize.
No, that's fine.
But it's
That's-
same principle, they
confusing,
both
yeah.
are new.
And they work together a lot,
Yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
And so I think the consensus in the committee was, like Amy said, it was a 0, a 10, and a 5. So we landed at 75, and it would be contingent on, they would have to show receipts that it was all spent for,
Supplies.
what the supplies for the purposes that he requested.
Yes.
So does anybody want to change that 7,500?
And that is opioid money.
But we need to confirm, I thought we were gonna have a little bit more discussion about, or maybe not, maybe I'm remembering that wrong, that those funds could only be used for supplies.
Yes.
And how that was gonna be tracked or reported
No,
back to us or
just-
something. Yes, I realized that, but
We
not,
can make our agreement, because it is opioid funds, they will have a specific agreement, and we can make that agreement contingent on only purchasing supplies.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, that would not be a problem, and that would make their reporting very simple.
No, and then if you remember, what we started last year too, is we call a meeting that's mandatory for all the entities that have requested money through opioid funds, and we bring Laura from CAECO. Is it Laura?
Lauren Carr.
And
yeah.
who basically oversees all the funds, and they have a crash course of, if you're going to accept these opioid funds from Franklin County, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and if X, Y, and Z is not done, you're not getting the funds. So it worked very well last year, very well, and we plan to do that again this year. Okay, so let's move to the next one. Sounds like we're okay with 7,500.
The next one was an entity called Frankfurt Cares Coalition. And Frankfurt Cares Coalition asked for $25,000. The committee ended up with a recommendation of $5,000 of general funds. And we had one committee member that said 0 and 2 committee members that said 5,000. So we went with the majority, 5,000. But that's one that probably we need to discuss as a whole.
Already thoughts on that?
I'm still at 0. To give money to an organization that gives money to other organizations, just cut the middleman out.
Okay.
Judge, my discussion at that point, and I don't know if anybody had talks I did not or did not hear, was whether we could help that entity plan for the future about the sustainability of multiple organizations, because that was really the idea in its creation, was to sort of figure out how we continue these entities on their own indefinitely without opioid funds and otherwise. That I don't know if they got back with us with anything, or if there was any way that we could dictate that they could do something with in that manner, that we may fund like a one-time plan for the community that sort of creates a roadmap forward for all of these entities in the future.
Yeah, and I know there's classes and stuff, and we've recommended some of them to take it, as far as how to run nonprofits and how not to just be, relying on county governments and things. And some in this community do it very well, and others don't, and they don't last, and I hate that. I was with somebody the other day, and she made the comment about starting another nonprofit, and I'm just looking at her, and I didn't say anything, but it was like, the nonprofits that we have here right now are covering, I think, about every need. And so to start another one is just going to compete with the others. And so I think it's a natural process to kind of thin out. I'm not being mean or anything. It's just, there's only so much to go around. But, I think it's the entities that are doing their homework and are figuring out how to get sponsors and people, on their boards that will hustle money. So, yeah, we've tried to help some of them before, but they do their thing. All right, so we've heard 0 and we've heard 5,000. Thoughts?
I would like to fund them at a larger level if they could perform that. My thought is there needs to start being discussion about these entities sharing resources better, sharing buildings. We all know how many structures in South Frankfurt are occupied by nonprofits that are off the tax rolls that they're maintaining, that there may be some opportunity in the future to consolidate services, at least in singular structures, that may benefit everybody more. And that was some of the reason in creating the CARES Coalition that I had a hand in years ago. So,
all right. So Squire Wisman wants to do more. I have 2 zeros over here. Where's everybody else at?
if they could come up, if we could dictate it for a plan, sort of sustainability plan.
I understand Squire Blackburn's objection that we're giving money to somebody's giving money, we're giving money to people they're going to, we don't know who they're targeting, but maybe the same ones we are. So I actually, in my personal opinion is I can live with it at 5,000 or I can live with it at 0.
I'm 0.
You're 0?
Can I ask Belinda to kind of give us just a short review of what they were funding with this?
Belinda, would you mind walking up to the microphone, please? Sorry if you're spread out there, but.
So, in a nutshell, it's just an umbrella coalition that supports local agencies in the community that residents depend on for basic needs. Now, I can pull up the full application, but it's not super specific.
Right.
About exactly who the money is.
That's what I remembered when that's what I thought.
So, I mean, as far as Blackburn's point, I mean, are they just given to the same entities that we're funding here? I mean, it sounds like.
They do.
Yes, they do.
And others,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, they do.
All right, we're going 0? All right, let's take them to 0, looks like, Amy.
Okay.
All right. What other ones do you have?
I do not show any others. The rest of them, the committee members may have had different recommendations, but then they came together and said, we can
Yeah.
all agree on this number. Unless
What
my
about
notes
the-
don't show anything else.
Belinda,
Is there
you said something about the
else you
fair.
remember?
Can I
Well-
see yours?
I think actually,
And that'll
I'm
help
trying to
me.
look back through the notes. I think everybody did
I didn't bring
get
a
on
big
board
sheet.
with that one, I think.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
I think we did too.
My deal on
What was the fair? Fair's like 5,000, right?
If they're gonna do it on this, we should just give them all the money.
It is,
That's fine,
$1,000?
let them
Oh.
decide.
5.
Should be 5,000, wherever.
There's 5 on there.
Okay.
Is it? Okay. I'm sorry.
5,000.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, it's our county fair at our park, so I mean, yeah.
And Judge, the other one was that I had a little note on was the William Joseph Nice Nursery,
Yes.
Crisis Nursery, again, just
Yes.
dictating what those funds can be used for, and there was some question about that, and
I think
That was the supplies only.
that was another one that was gonna be supplies only, and that was at 5,000, Amy or Belinda?
10.
10.
Opioid.
Because they're supporting, here, I'm just gonna say, they're supporting parents,
Yeah.
to keep kids out of foster care, and that's why this one's so important to me.
Okay. But it is supplies only, correct?
I don't remember that.
Yes.
Is that what
Yes.
you wrote?
The wages.
I
Because I think if
probably
we-
didn't agree with that, but
Squire,
that's
remember
okay.
we talked about diapers and all kinds of stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
It
The
was
pantry, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
The pantry.
The way I remember, we were trying to get them to quit using this money for staff, because when this money goes away, then there they are.
Yeah.
So we were trying to make it for materials
Well,
and,
especially some of the newer ones that don't have a track record.
Right.
It's safer to say supplies, and we know they're gonna get divvied out.
And another,
Go
I
ahead, Squire.
apologize,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
we're
trying
good.
to speak out of turn.
Yep.
Another consideration is part of their application was for 24-hour services.
Yeah.
And there was some concern in regard to who would be
We've
staffing.
seen that before, if they don't have a good plan. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Yes,
you off.
and it had to do with the 24-hour care plan,
Yeah.
so we knew we could track.
That's an extremely hard thing to do.
Yes, supplies in a
Go
better
ahead, Squire
way.
Duckus.
They're not gonna open until October,
Right.
but they are giving out supplies. They're
Okay.
giving out diapers and formula, all the things that the Sunshine Center used to do.
Yeah.
They've taken that over, so
Okay.
I'm very comfortable with that, but the other services won't even, they're not gonna open until October for
Okay.
that, so I feel okay about that.
All right, Squire Wisdom.
And Judge, just a few more things here. I did meet with Amy about several concerns. There was, since we couldn't make any decisions in our last meeting, the soup kitchen, we funded at 15,000, but it was cut to 13,000. I wanted to put that back at 15, and my concession was I would be happy to give up magisterial clothing allowance for $2,000 and make sure we feed the homeless, and I'll pay for my own shirt if we need to. So they asked for 17, and I know that $2,000 is a lot of meals at that center, so.
What are the thoughts of the court?
I think several of us said we would give our shirts up for several things.
Yeah.
I don't think you
I'm
were the
2.5
only one.
years in, I still don't have a shirt, so I'm good with that.
I'm with
I don't have
that,
one
so-
either. I've been here for 3 years. I
so,
ain't
yeah,
got one
me
either.
too.
So I'd like to fund them at the 15 that they were last year, even though they requested 17, I think.
We
know
just
the need.
cut 5,000 from another agency, so that should not be a difficult thing to do.
Thoughts on that? Everybody want to bump it up a couple to the soup kitchen?
Well, we just cut 5,000 out, so
And what did we
there's the
do
money.
with recovery?
I agree with
Recovery
that.
Cafe was one of them. Looking back, I think that gets us to the 4, because I
4 or
think it was
5,
4.
because fair money
Yeah,
than
it was
one, yeah.
somewhere
I don't have any
I think
problem
the
with
Recovery
raising
Cafe
that,
was
but
one.
you don't have to
Because
cut
it was a
anything,
new
we just cut 5,000.
entity, and it was, is it gonna get opioid
Okay.
all, and
Consensus to go ahead and bump them full?
Yes, we just
Okay.
cut 5,000,
Yeah.
so the
Amy,
money's
you got
there.
that?
For which one? We had two different conversations.
Soup
going on.
kitchen.
Soup kitchen.
Soup kitchen.
that was the conversation.
Yeah.
We're putting the soup kitchen at 15.
Yes.
Okay.
The Recovery Cafe was mentioned, I thought we,
That's
those
all
come.
I mentioned.
That's a
I
different
mentioned it
deal,
to
right?
Amy as one that I think
It might
on
be the
my
last one
list
in
was
question.
one, because I think we had a question because there were multiple conversations about that with it being new, and then there were multiple conversations about what the level of funding was.
Amy, can you go over
Seems
the
to me the
cafe?
Recovery Cafe was one
Recovery
of
Cafe,
those,
please.
almost positive. But without my notes,
In my notes, 2 people agreed at 15,000 and one person recommended 10.
Yes.
so again, that was a split, and there was never a
Okay,
set.
yeah.
I just remember that being one of them that was not.
And
Do
so,
you, I'm sorry.
What's that,
Do you guys
Recovery
remember
Cafe? Is that
what
they're
Recovery
talking about? I
Cafe
don't even know.
does?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you all remember what Recovery Cafe does? I just want to make sure you understand what we're funding. They're new, but they are fantastic. And they, I mean, they are exactly what opioid funds are designed for, but they do case management, they feed people, they have NA and AA meetings. I mean, they do all of those things, and they do a really good job. They
We
really
do it
do.
over here at the.
Yeah.
At the Church of the
On
Ascension.
Washington Street.
And they're doing transportation already, right?
Oh, I'm sorry?
They're doing transportation
Yeah,
already.
and the whole parish is
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a
They're,
really
they
cool
really
thing
are
to
great.
see.
Lindsay's
Yeah.
awesome, man. She does a great job.
What was their ask, Amy or Belinda?
25.
25.
Okay, we're at 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
We're at 12.5.
12.5, it was the split.
Oh, okay. I'm still good with that because they're kind of a new entity and I think we see how it goes.
But the full,
Yeah.
we just had the recommendation.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
them, not
absolutely. Is everybody
so I think
okay with
was
that from the court?
The other one.
Which one, 12.5 or?
Yeah, 12.5.
I'd rather do 15.
Let's do 15. I'm there.
I-
12.5.
I'm good at 12.5.
Richard or Mike, Squire Tanner, Squire Harron, I'm
I
sorry.
could be 12.5, until they get a
Okay,
track
there we go.
record next
Yep.
year, maybe we
Alright.
can do
And
it.
that was
12.5.
part of the conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
12.5, please.
And Judge, just for the, if I can, just for the public watching, we're talking about two different things, and I just want to make sure everyone understands that so many of these are opioid funds that is coming to this community because of the opioid crisis through the
Yeah.
fines that are assessed to Kroger and other pharmacies, and these are not your tax dollars whatsoever. This is, corporate money that got taken through court and given to us to make a difference in our community. So, put those dollars to work in the community is our goal.
Alrighty.
And the conversation is being had with them about how they grain their legs to become self-sustaining
Yeah.
when that fund runs out.
Yeah.
Because that is a big part of that conversation.
We're trying to have a conversation with all the
Big part of
nonprofits
the
that this money's
conversation.
not always gonna be there and we're happy to help
Correct.
provide, but, I'm really excited to do the transportation thing because that's the top of the pillars of all four pillars is the transportation and they've been working hard on it, so I'll have that number by the next meeting and Amy, when I get it, I'll let you know. But that's a whole decision of the court. This isn't just me. We all vote on it together. I'm just one vote out of 7, so we'll do whatever you all want to do, but it is impressive to see that we're moving that direction.
Well, and I will say that every single meeting I've been to with all the nonprofits,
Yep.
that is the number one
Yep.
thing that they are having difficulty with is transportation. And
Yep.
we tried to remedy that last year, and then as soon as we kind of got the application done, somebody quit over there. So it didn't go very far. So I love this idea, and I think every family and every nonprofit are going to be really happy about the
Yeah,
transportation
and I think we have the right
situation.
people to the table now, and as much as we appreciate churches and volunteers and stuff, that's not the system we're building here.
It's not
It's not sustainable. We're building something that is a whole transportation infrastructure, that will help this community with exactly what they need. Squire Wisman.
Judge, just to elaborate a little bit there, if I can, just for a second, because I was arguing for long-term sustainability planning for one entity that's using our general funds, and the opposite is true in my mind for the opioid funds, because the idea is that we make such an impact in the next 10 to 20 years out of these funds that we eradicate the opioid and other addiction problems that are so pervasive in our community, that these funds are not intended to last forever. They're intended to make a difference and tackle the problem head-on now. So-
And I wish I had it with me, but I had numbers that what's happening in the state now is that opioid addiction has gone way down.
Yeah.
And now STEM is going up. So people are doing stimulants and there is no medication or anything for that. So, we're just more in a STEM problem at this point.
Well, and I want to do a shout out to the health department of Amelia Berry
Oh,
because
yeah.
years ago, she went to Iceland and we're doing the Iceland prevention. And that was the country with the worst opioid addiction problem. And within either 10 or 15 years, they're now the best. So that's basically all these programs for kids and everything else. We're trying to beat the system and change everything. So, Jailer Hopper and I talk about it all the time. I love the day that they have to close their doors because they don't have any customers. So, looking forward to that. I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, but it'd be a good goal. So, alrighty. Oh, Belinda.
I just wanted to confirm what you all wanted me to do before the next meeting, like who you wanted me to reach out to and what exactly the questions I'm asking to make sure I've got this.
So the only one we've heard from is Yes Arts, right, with L. Travis?
Judge, I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead,
My feeling is, since they asked in the original application for the 67.5, you don't even need the second one. because we're just funding that. We're funding the first application.
Oh,
that should take care of it,
It's
yeah.
just gonna mess up.
No one
it's
else has
gonna-
reached out to
It's gonna make
us.
things messy, so,
Right,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Judge, I was asking for all of the entities that were giving opioid funds to, because some of them may have been funded better through the state than they expected, and some may, as we see, conversely, so I'm wondering how that impacts our use of those funds, maybe.
Belinda, I guess it wouldn't hurt, you have the email list, you could just ask
It's only
anybody if they're
10 of
funded
them.
and how much they're getting.
Okay.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad for us to know that, to have that
Charlie will
knowledge.
know that. He'll
Yeah.
have every one of those numbers if you wanna just
Yeah.
email Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what I wanted to know, and do I specifically need to ask the agencies any questions? Just get the information.
We just want to know if they received any state funds, or if they didn't, if they applied for something they didn't get it. I think that's the other question. It'd be nice to know.
In the application process, they are not applying for opioid funds.
Right.
They are applying for an outside agency grant, and in that application, we say, are any of your services opioid
Yeah.
related? And so that's where the committee came in and said, okay, this per KRS, opioid funds can be used for that. So they were not specifically applying for opioid funds.
Perfect.
But it's our only application process to apply for those and to put those funds into our partners' entities. But Judge, a couple other things. I met with Amy and I asked, Amy, if you could go over, you sent me an email sort of describing the pay increases.
Sure.
I'd been advocating for a 4% raise for the last year, but Amy's analysis of what's in the budget and a $3 or $1 versus a 4%, there's some, I just wanted you to explain if you could, please. the way
So-
you explained it to me.
So if you'll remember, we have built into this budget, it's different than what we usually do. We do usually a percentage, a cost of living increase as of January. And this year, we're doing something different because we have such a high number of employees at a lower rate. And so we're doing a 3% or $1 minimum, whichever is better for the employee. And almost 80% of our employees, that dollar is going to be better for them. And it gets, for some people, that's a 5% raise. And so Squire Wisman had asked me to run the numbers on 4%. And I did, and for your high earners, it is a cheaper option for the county to go 4%. And it's better for your higher earners, that's that small percentage of employees, but for all of those others, that hybrid that we're proposing is better for them. We can't.
That discussion was held in finance, so it isn't something that just kind of jumped off the shelf. There was a lengthy discussion about what would be in the best interest of the employees.
Yeah.
Because that's where the heart of the fiscal court is.
Yeah.
Every member of the fiscal court.
And Amy, I appreciate you and Vicki working on that, because I know it took some work. It's a whole lot easier to just say 3% or 4%, but
Sure.
when we really started looking at, and I'm pretty amazed, it's 80% of our employees, 240 employees, are gonna benefit more by the dollar. So I think it's a great thing that we came up with, and we should all be proud to be able to do that for our teammates.
And it is a 1 year. I don't want our employees thinking that we
No,
can do
yeah.
that next year, because it is not. This is to get them more in line
Yeah.
with where they, it's,
You're exactly
it's
right.
not perfect,
We don't know what's
but
gonna happen. I mean, with
Yeah.
the fuel charges and everything else going on in this world right now, we just don't know. So we can only go year by year, but I think this court should be proud of all we've done for our teammates over the last, couple of years. We've done a lot. Squire Sebastian.
And to that point, thank you, Judge. I think we discussed in the committee how many years we've been able to give an increase. And I don't have the command of that with me, but I think it has been 7 or 8 in a row that we've been able to give that.
And that doesn't include, last year we spent so much time working on the comp plan, as far as each individual, and I think Chief could probably say right now, that's why we have fully staffed, the jail's fully staffed, so.
Road department.
Road department, we all
spent
are
a
working
lot of
together,
time.
but we've stepped the bar up, and I think it makes a huge difference, so, yeah.
And
Thank
CAECO just did, I sat in on one of their not trainings, they just did an update for the counties, and the state built in 2% for the next 2 years, I believe, so,
We should be proud. We should be proud.
Well, we've been able to give raises when the state has not.
Oh, absolutely.
Straight
They
through.
went like 10 years with no things,
So I think it was 2011 was the last raise for state employees.
Just one other ask, I asked Amy about this one as well. The road resurfacing budget is a base of $850,000, which is effectively just a maintenance line item that is typically there most years. And then there was a $150,000 additional increase request for road resurfacing. You know, we made $150,000 plus in interest this year.
What do you mean there's a request of $150,000 from who?
It's in our packet that you took out $150,000
If I could explain
of
that.
that road
I did
replacement.
not take out
So
$150,000 of that.
when the road department came and met with us, they had put an additional amount in there in error. But as I went through those, I realized that the base is 850 after we had discussion with them. They're like, you're right. So in your packet, it is higher than that, but that includes the grant that we received for farmers.
Lane Bridge.
Thank you. But 850 is the base, and it was simply an error. But I wanted to show you all that they came with that. We weren't cutting it from their budget. We were simply correcting their
So in your
budget.
letter that you sent your constituents, you need to put a redaction in there that you made a mistake.
No. Well, I'm asking, I'd like to increase that line up to $1 million. We've got so much work
Hey,
to do
Mike, would you
across this
mind
county.
coming up and just explain on your end what happened there?
Well, I'm new to the whole budget thing.
Yep.
And we had $850,000, and I wanted to pave all I could. We run out of money, and I asked Justin, I said, can we ask for $1 million? And that's what we did, and it just,
Right,
it was just an ask.
right.
So I guess it was an error on my part. I mean,
It's all good.
I was just shooting for the stars. That's exactly what I was doing.
That's what you should do, right? Yeah.
I did.
Well,
Yeah.
it's up to this body to make a decision about what we want to fund and at what rates, and I'd like to throw $1 million right there. We've got roads all over this county that are crumbling, bridges crumbling. We've got a lot of infrastructure that I want to focus on, and I think it's imperative to do it right now because we've got a limited time with some favor at our state level to help us with some of these projects. So I want to make that 150 increase, so that's my
Thoughts of the court? This is the
request.
first we're hearing of this. 850 is the base?
Judge, the first,
Where's he taking it?
this is the first meeting that we've had a budget discussion as a whole body. The last one was a presentation that we weren't able to.
You don't need to raise your
make any
voice,
changes.
first of all. You don't need to raise your voice. We're having a conversation here. I'm asking the court. That's how it works.
It
You
is.
threw out $1 million.
It is.
I'm gonna ask the other magistrates what they wanna do. This is everybody's budget. Spartacus.
I just asked Amy if she would explain something that might help
Please.
us a little bit.
So this budget, this upcoming budget covers July 1 through June 30th, and we have a new term that starts January 1st. So we do have, we have a limit of, we can only spend 65% of our budget from July 1 through December 31st. So, you know, we have to watch from July to December and spend under 65%. So if we have large projects like the Farmers Lane Bridge, did I say it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Very good, Amy. That was great. You pulled that one.
Which is in that road, you know, we have to watch and not spend that entire remainder of 850.
And isn't that for new incoming magistrates?
It
If someone
is.
gets
It's
voted
so-
in, that they have money to work with?
Yes,
That
we don't want to have a new court come in January 1st and
Right.
not have a budget.
And one more step, it is not the overall budget, correct? It is per?
Per fund.
Yes, per fund. So that needs to be something that is understood by some of the newer squires on the court that haven't had the opportunity to go through something like this before.
Right.
Thank you.
Spartanic?
Of course, it's not gonna happen to this court, but that law was changed when I was lobbying for the magistrates years and years ago. But some counties would have a 75 or 100% change over in the fiscal court. Therefore, they would spend all the money, like down to 20% left, just barely enough to, maybe not even enough to make the payroll. So we encouraged that they pass a law where you can spend that much anymore because it hurt the income in fiscal court, terrible. But I'm not saying that would happen here, ever did happen here, but it did happen in some places.
All righty, what's consensus? Our treasurer's recommended base, and I think the road department is good with that. Everybody good with that?
I think based on, again, I apologize.
No, you're fine.
I think we discussed a number of things in the Finance Committee as well as in the Committee of the Whole. And we're very cognizant of the 65-35. And it is per fund. And that Farmers Lane Bridge is a very expensive project. That's almost half of what that is because the estimates that we received early on in the project have now been colored because of the material increase. That right there is going to eat up over, I think, 50% of that 850,000. And then there is at least one paving project that's going to come in, and that's going to put us close. We're going to be running close to that straight out of the gate. So I literally think crunching the numbers over here, and I do the numbers really routinely, we have to stay at that 850. I think it will hurt us if we make a change. That's just me from the number perspective. Not anything about a specific project, but from the numbers that we have for existing projects.
Any other thoughts from the court?
I would think the opposite of that, Judge, that adding value to a line item then lets us spend more of it up front and leaves a balance for the new year. If it's 65-35, that just makes more sense to me. But
Spartana?
I don't know if this would be related to talk about now, but sometime maybe, and I don't like to take up a lot of time, but the next fiscal court, which I'm assuming it'll be everybody here, hopefully, but maybe we should come up with a real road plan that says we've got to blacktop these many roads, and these are the ones that need it the worst, and we need to figure out how we're gonna come up with the money to do that. We've got to do that, because all the roads are deteriorating really fast, just the way the winters are, the way the salt we're putting on them, and freezing and thawing, and the burden is on us to figure out a way to do that. So I think we need to look at that pretty hard.
We do.
Thank you, Jim.
We look at it all the time. Go ahead.
And we do, which is informed by our road supervisor.
Yeah.
We take 2 road trips a year. It is, I've gone on them all.
I've been on every one of them.
There are some who choose not to go on the road trips. That is the opportunity for us to see different roads in your district that you may not travel every day. So that, and I write a letter to the judge every year saying, these are the roads in my district that need it. There's X amount of homes on this road. I mean, I don't know how everybody else handles it. You can ask to see my letters.
Yeah.
I'm very clear early on, every year about what needs to be paved. And during the road trips, I put those roads on there so that we go by those roads so everybody can see what terrible shape they're in. Everybody who chooses to attend the road trip. So it's clear to everybody. I mean, so we're not having this conversation about my road's worse than your road, or my bridge needs it. I mean, that's not what this should be about.
And I do know that is one of the, responsibilities of road superintendent.
Exactly
They go
right.
out and spend a lot of time looking at the roads, evaluating the roads,
That's not what you said.
making recommendations, and that's kind of what we go by. They work with the state too on the state roads, so.
And that's the thing, the county budget's only gonna do the county roads, the state roads, or, depending on what district you're in, how many you have.
Well, the
It
interesting.
is what it is.
Yeah. And just to that point, and I know everybody says the roads are terrible, but they're not. We have some roads, but, when let's say potholes alone, I put that post out there, 160 comments, and we went through it, and there was only like 9 roads, county roads. The rest were all state and all city that were just banged up. So I want to give kudos to the road department because they take damn good care of our roads. No, we can always use more paving, and there's less and less money every year, but we're working on it. Go
And
ahead.
to be clear, when I send that letter to the judge,
Yep.
it goes to the road supervisor so that
Yeah.
that team can
And we have
review
meetings.
to create.
Yeah.
If that's the direction we want to go, then everybody here needs to send a letter to the judge and and maybe we should do that, brother, in a
As a
condition.
proactive
in
magistrate, I do
In
that.
addition to the trip, but we still got to have a plan, and to say, this is my plan for my district, and I think you have to do a county plan, and That's the way I look at it.
where
But
my
anyway,
brain-
that's just a debatable issue.
No, absolutely. But yes, anything you all give me throughout the year, if it comes to me about a road, a guardrail, any issues, it goes straight to the road department, and if they need to meet and talk about it, we do. Go ahead, Squire.
You know, what do we have, about 220 miles of county roads in the whole entire county. And I think if you ask Squire Sebastian, what's the best district in Franklin County, she's gonna say, well,
I'm gonna say it's number one for a
Here we
reason.
go. Here we go.
Number one for a reason.
Amy's gonna sit down. Look.
Always.
I just humbly smile and know that
Yeah.
mine got smaller because it grew. So when we do bring these roads up and we lobby to have our particular roads in our district done, I think you all weigh that. But the bottom line is, which road is the worst in our community? Which road are we gonna address first? And we've always done that. And it's been driven by our road superintendent. Every road superintendent that's been there since I've been here has told me, this is how I do it. And nobody's changed that. We do have a road plan. Which ones are the worst? In order descending, we tackle them and we go down. And it does affect how many people live on that road and how much it's traveled and all that. But at the same time, it's fixing the roads that need it as we can. And I do weigh heavily on, you're the expert. You know which road takes the most time, the most effort, the most energy, the most maintenance, and how it'll benefit our community. So, that's been working. And our roads are better than the cities. Our roads are better than the states. And I don't want to fix something that's not broken.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, when you all send me stuff, I send it to Mike and his team. And then ultimately, when they look at all the roads and they're done looking at the roads, he'll call me and he'll say, Judge, this is what we're going to recommend, X, Y, and Z. Do you want to do anything different? I said, no. If you all think that's the worst roads in the county, then that's what we're going to do. So it's not like any of us are saying like we had that road fixed or whatever. It's really the road department that has the plan, that is meeting, they're doing coring. They're the ones that are deciding what the worst roads are. Now we can recommend things and try to get some things done, but every year when it comes to me, I say this is what you all do for a living. You're the professionals. Whatever road's the worst in the county, let's just do them. And that's the way it's been, and I think it works well. We could probably get something a little bit more if you wanted to, Squire, as far as, because they already have a list for the year.
First
and we
of
could do
all,
a visual maybe.
I don't have any problem with what they do. I think they do a great job.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all over everything, and I don't think they go out of the way to exclude any road in the county. They know which ones are bad, and they'll do the best they can to get them all. There's no question about that. But, I think, I worry, now maybe think is not the right word, but with the stress we're putting on our roads right now, with the winters we've had the last couple, at least the cold weather, the snow this year, the salt we've been using, it all deteriorates the roads kind of equally. And we may start having to look at doing more roads instead of just one here, one there. We may have 5 or 6 that's really bad. And I don't know, if the plan is that let the road department decide which one's worse, that's a plan. And I'm not opposed to that. I'm sure they know more about it than I do. Because 5th District is a concentrated district, and it has a lot of city streets, but it has very many farm to market roads, not very many. I'm lucky with that way.
Amy, are you done?
Yeah, I am. I'm done.
She's just like, just let me know. Squire Wisman.
Judge, I just want to get back to my request, and it's not anything out in the air. Our road superintendent thought $1 million was appropriate this year. We had, if I recall, 1.2 million requested to the state for repairs of our roadways from flooding that we've not heard if we're getting. I still have several in my district that are going to need some pretty serious repairs, whether we get those funds or not. We had a terrible winter. We had 2 floods last year that impacted the roads. I think we've got a lot that needs to be done, so I'm just advocating that we need to put more money to it this year. That's, in my mind, in our community's mind, one of our primary obligations is keeping these roads repaired, and I'm still sitting a year later with a few of mine, and not to make this just about me, but with those flood damages that have not been repaired yet, and we don't know if we're getting anything out of the state. So, I asked for 150,000 more just to sort of start to try to address some of
Unfortunately,
those.
we can't help that FEMA's closed, because
I know,
the president
but-
decided to start ice, so I mean, that's a whole nother.
And ultimately, we've had discussions several times about when it comes down to the line, federal government doesn't give us what we need.
Yep.
That's our rainy day fund to fix these things on our own, so.
All right,
I would just
Amy's
like to
left.
see that increased because the need, I know, is growing every year.
Yep. All right, thoughts of the court. Go with the original budget item that they requested or add to it?
Where would we take that money from? Out of general
It'll
fund?
have to come out of reserves,
General fund reserves.
which we can always amend if they see a road that needs to be fixed, but that's up to you all. We've been round and round, just me, we've been round and round in committee meetings with Mike and his team and everything, and I'm fine with keeping it, what Amy has in there at the 850 base. And if something comes up, then I'm fine to, we can amend it, but I'm just one vote. So you all say what you want to do, and we're gonna keep moving.
I'm fine with that.
Anybody else?
I think we had some good discussion in the finance committee. Right off as you would agree.
All right, Amy, we're gonna leave it at 850 as requested.
And Judge, I just have one other question if we could.
Okay?
Amy, you said we got those numbers back from insurance, from KCO, and I'd ask you and our HR director, maybe if you could give us any idea about, we had, health claims at 200%. I'm wondering if we got a little bit more information since then that would help us inform that.
It's not health insurance. Health insurance is a January 1
Okay.
renewal, so I don't have those numbers. I budgeted an increase there based on just our loss ratio. The numbers I referred to that I received are our liability insurance, workers' comp, errors and omission.
Did that, I didn't see in the budget what that, other than the 79,000, you said 500, what was the?
That's the
If you have
dividend.
the dividend.
So what I budgeted, I only made a few changes, but I can get exact premium numbers, so I can send that out to the full fiscal court. But it's already in the budget.
Okay. And it was separate questions, I'm sorry, I've sort them together, but I'd ask HR if maybe you could look in, I don't know if you got any idea of what those claims might be looking like. I thought we may have had some employee change that might impact that this coming year.
There's one that I'm aware of. I haven't fully researched that
Okay.
at this time. I'm also a little concerned about
Yeah, of course,
with,
of course.
specific employees.
I thought that maybe there was a projection there that we could see that may make it look worse or better for us from because that was part of the discussion at our last meeting, so, thank you.
All righty,
That's
thank you, court, thank you. Amy, can we, maybe ask you to come back for the treasurer's report, or are you done? I mean, if you're done, you're done, I'm cool, whatever,
Well, before we move on, I thought, as we were sitting there talking about the roads, I thought I'd look at the trend. And the road department, we budgeted $850 every year. Last year, we spent $756,000. The year before, $714,000. The year before that, $754,000. We've
Stayed under a proposal.
well under what was budgeted. So,
But-
I'm just the numbers person. I don't make the decisions, you all do. But based on trend, we're well under that. And I don't see the need unless you add more.
Yeah.
But could I ask, I can't remember the exact number, Amy, maybe you have, or Belinda, was it 1.2 or 1.4 I recall for flood damaged roads specifically in this community that we applied to the state? Legislative session's over, I didn't hear that we got any money to make those repairs, so it's incumbent, those are gonna come to us to repair at this point.
I
So,
don't have those numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Most of that money's coming from the feds, though, because Aaron's working on
It
it.
would pass through.
Yeah, but yeah, it's coming
Yeah.
from the feds, so they're still in session.
Yeah.
Yep. All righty, treasurer's report. Are you done yet? I mean, we can't wait on you any longer, Amy.
All right.
I think Sheriff brought pizza for us tonight, maybe. What do you think, Sheriff Jeff? You got pizzas back there for us? I could have a slice of pizza.
Okay, so putting behind next year's budget, looking at this year, I have provided you the revenue and expenses as of April 29th. A lot has changed. No, as of April 24th. A lot has changed in these 5 days because our occupational tax administrator is bringing in a lot of insurance premium tax and net profits. We're very close to our budget numbers, which I'm really excited about.
Great news.
That's all.
Any questions on the treasurer's report? Alrighty, budget transfers.
And the next item are several budget transfers. In your agenda abstract, I have what's going on with each one of those. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Any questions on the budget transfers for our treasurer tonight? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Alrighty, next, payment of claims. Does anybody have any questions, concerns, comments for Kim, our clerk, on payment of claims? Alrighty, seeing none. Authorization to go into closed session per KRS 61.8101BC, deliberation on the future acquisition or sale of real property by a public agency, but only when publicly would be likely to affect the value of a specific piece of property to be acquired for public use or sold by a public agency. Discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of a public agency.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. We're in closed session. session?
So moved.
Did you get that, clerk? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're in open session. Thank you. Other business. Do we have any other business tonight? Hey, you jumped on that quick. Go ahead, Squire Sebastian.
Thank you, Judge. I just want to remind the community of Franklin County's birthday.
Yep.
And it will be observed a day early on Saturday, May 9th at Lakeview Park. The county this year has kind of pivoted away from concerts and really focusing on activities for the full family. So kid-centered activities, inflatables, we're going to have games, we're going to have hot dogs, going to have ice cream, courtesy of the sheriff. So, and we're going to have our train again, we're going to have Bicycle Safety Town, lots of giveaways. So a great day for the family. We will see you at Lakeview Park down in the horse arena. And Squire Blackburn is doing something special for us, so.
Now, just so everybody knows, that event is from 1 to 4,
Yes, sir, and free.
and ice cream is 2 to 4.
2 to 4 for ice cream.
Perfect, and then hot dogs and some popcorn, things like that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Perfect. All
Thank
right,
you,
what
sir.
other?
Thank you.
Thank you, Squire. Other, I see a hand, Squire.
Judge, my computer was delayed when we were asking about supplemental claims and bills. There was a new one for pump skid replacement. I just don't know what it was, and it just has building maintenance. I was wondering if elaborate on what that was.
Kim, do you know what that is? Is that the fire department?
That's the courthouse.
Oh, courthouse, that's fast.
They had to repair the emergency
Make a note
pumps.
of
We were reimbursed. Yeah, okay.
The
Okay.
emergency
I was
pumps.
hoping that was maybe, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, right, Cody, spending money back there.
$33,000 is unidentified.
All right, any other business? Alrighty, we are gonna roll on into the voting session. Clerk, please call roll.
Squire Sebastian.
Here.
Squire Blackburn.
Present.
Squire Dykus.
Here.
Squire Harrod.
Here.
Squire Tanner.
Here.
Squire Wisman.
Present.
Judge Miller.
Present. Thank you, clerk. Authorization for approval of minutes from the special meeting of April 14th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization for approval of minutes from the regular meeting of April 15th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve an agreement with Commonwealth of Kentucky regarding the jail/SAP for fiscal year 2027-2028.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Do I have a motion to table this next agenda item?
I will make a motion, Judge, that we table it until our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is May 13th.
Thank you, Squire. Do I have
Second.
a second from Squire Blackburn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve an office lease agreement between the Franklin County Fiscal Court and the Capital Community Economic Industrial Development Authority, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Second reading and approval of amending an ordinance number 14-2007 relating to the imposition and administration of an occupational license requirement and payment of an occupational license tax by persons and business entities conducting businesses, occupations, and professions within Franklin County, Kentucky, Section 1 definition, and Section 3 occupational license tax payment required as amended.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization and approval of resolution of the Franklin County Fiscal Court supporting the renaming of the Franklin County Courthouse in honor of U.S. Supreme Court Justice John Marshall Harlan.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get that, clerk?
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026-2027.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to receive treasurer's report.
So moved.
Second.
Did you get it, clerk?
Blackburn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Authorization to approve budget transfers for fiscal year 2025-2026.
So moved.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Payment of claims. Is there a motion to deny payment of any claim? No motion was made. Let the record reflect claims are to be paid. Authorization to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. We're adjourned. Thank you, Court. Great meeting.